All right, let's get right into it today and take a deep dive into a pretty tough topic, Dublin's drug crisis.
Yeah.
We're going to go beyond the typical, touristy stuff and really zoom in on one community, Darndale. They've been particularly hit hard by this issue.
Right.
And to kind of guide our exploration today, we're going to be looking at this online blog post that I found.
Okay.
It's got a lot of really powerful personal stories, some statistics about drug use in Ireland, and thankfully some efforts towards finding solutions, some glimmers of hope in there as well.
Yeah, those are always good.
One thing that really struck me from the post was this quote.
Oh, okay.
It says, "Everybody's doing it. It's as normal as having Sunday dinner." I mean, that's a pretty jarring statement about how normalized drug use has become in Dublin.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm curious to get your initial reaction to that. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a powerful statement, and I think it challenges us to look beyond just individual blame, right? It suggests that there are these broader societal forces at play. Think about it. If drug use is so pervasive that it's being compared to like a Sunday dinner, like a family tradition almost.
Right.
It indicates a deeper issue with societal norms and acceptance.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not just about, personal choices. There's this whole system at work here.
Absolutely.
So how did Dublin, a city known for, so much history and culture, become a place where drug use is so widespread?
Well, it's a complex issue with roots in a variety of factors, I think. You've got socioeconomic disparities, historical trauma, and even globalization. Globalization has made drugs more accessible.
Oh, interesting.
Ireland, despite its economic progress, it still has those challenges like poverty and unemployment, particularly in areas like Darndale that we're going to be looking at.
Right.
And these factors, they can create a fertile ground for drug use to take hold.
That makes sense. So let's focus on Darndale now.
Okay.
The blog paints a pretty stark picture of daily life there. What are some of the things that stood out to you?
Yeah, the blog describes a reality where the presence of drugs is almost inescapable.
Really?
Yeah, it talks about things like crack houses operating pretty much openly and how drug abuse has become normalized within families. Imagine growing up in that kind of environment.
Right.
That's just the norm. It creates this cycle that can be incredibly difficult to break.
Yeah, it sounds incredibly challenging to even think about staying clean in that kind of environment.
For sure.
And that's where Daniel Jones's story comes in, right?
Exactly.
So tell me about Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel is a social worker in Darndale,
Right.
and he has personal experience with addiction.
Oh, wow.
So he understands these challenges firsthand. He actually says in the blog, when you're walking out your door and drugs are in your face 24/7, it's harder to stay clean.
Hard to argue with that,
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's a really powerful statement.
Yeah.
I mean, his perspective really highlights the importance of having people like him working on the ground, offering support within the community.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just providing resources, right? Daniel's work embodies what we call those grassroots efforts, which are initiatives led by people from within the community itself. These efforts are often more effective because they're built on that trust and understanding of the local context.
Right. It's like having someone who speaks your language, who's been in your shoes, reaching out a hand.
Absolutely.
That can make all the difference. But Daniel isn't the only one working to make a difference in Darndale, is he?
No, not at all. Actually, there's this Darndale Community Training Center. They're doing some pretty amazing work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like they're creating a safe space for young people, to escape the pressures and the temptations of that environment.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about this training center.
Sure.
What's their approach? How are they making a difference?
Well, they focus on empowering young people by equipping them with valuable skills and education. They offer training in various fields like plumbing, carpentry, IT, all sorts of things. So it opens up real job opportunities and provides a path away from that cycle of poverty and drug use.
That's so important to give them a sense of hope.
Right.
There's another way.
Exactly. It's about giving them a chance to build a future,
Yeah.
a future that they can be proud of.
Right. But isn't it incredibly difficult to motivate young people
Oh, yeah.
who may have already been exposed to drugs and crime and all that?
It is, but the center has seen some remarkable success stories.
Really?
Yeah, young people who were once caught in a downward spiral are now thriving.
That's amazing.
They're getting apprenticeships, going on to college, even starting their own businesses. It really is a testament to the fact that with the right support, change is absolutely possible.
That's incredible. So it can't just be about learning a trade.
Right.
There must be a deeper level of support at play here, right?
Oh, absolutely. The center's impact goes beyond just vocational training, right?
Mm-hmm.
It provides a sense of community, a positive and supportive environment
where
young people can feel safe, valued, and encouraged.
That makes a lot of sense.
And actually, the blog quotes a young person from the center.
Oh, wow.
They say, the opportunity to come here and learn something keeps you out of the hostile environment.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's a real testament to the impact of this place.
Yeah.
It's not just a school, it's a sanctuary.
Right.
And it makes me think about the broader concept of social determinants of health.
Yes.
You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
Could you explain that a bit more for our listener?
Sure. Social determinants of health refer to the conditions in which people are born, grow, live, work, and age. And these conditions, they can have a huge impact on a person's well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Factors like poverty, unemployment, lack of education, and exposure to violence.
Yeah.
All of these things, they create significant barriers to good health, including making someone more vulnerable to drug use.
So in a way, the training center is tackling these social determinants head on.
Yeah.
By providing opportunities, safety, and a sense of belonging.
Exactly. It's about addressing those root causes.
Yeah.
Creating an environment where young people can thrive and break free from those negative cycles that have held them back.
This training center sounds like a real beacon of hope in Darndale.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm curious, what's the driving force behind its success?
Well, the blog highlights Trina O'Connor.
Okay.
She's a criminologist who plays a key role at the center.
Oh, wow.
Her dedication to these young people is really inspiring, She firmly believes that no one is beyond help.
That's great.
And that belief, that unwavering belief in their potential, it seems to be at the heart of everything the center accomplishes.
It's incredible to see people like Daniel and Trina, individuals who are deeply invested in making a difference.
Absolutely.
But how sustainable are these efforts in the long run?
That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
And I think the answer lies in a multifaceted approach, right?
Okay.
It's about continued investment in programs like the Darndale Community Training Center.
Yeah.
But it's also about addressing those broader social and economic issues that contribute to drug use.
So it's not just about treating the symptoms.
Right.
It's about addressing the underlying causes.
Exactly. And that's where it gets a bit tricky.
Yeah.
There are debates surrounding different strategies.
Yeah.
Some advocate for harm reduction approaches, focusing on minimizing the negative consequences of drug use.
Yeah.
Others argue for stricter law enforcement and punishment. There's no easy answer.
Right.
And the most effective approach likely involves a combination of strategies tailored to the specific community.
So it sounds like a complex issue with no quick fixes.
For sure.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Darndale and Dublin's drug crisis, what are some key takeaways for our listener?
What struck you?
What do we want them to walk away with?
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, for me, it's the idea that while the situation is dire, it's not hopeless.
Right.
There are people making a real difference, and there are solutions worth exploring.
I think Darndale shows us the power of those community-based solutions. They've really demonstrated how crucial it is to have those resources available within the community itself. Support systems like what Daniel provides.
Right.
And safe havens like that training center.
It's like they've created this safety net.
Yeah.
Woven from understanding, opportunity, and most importantly, a belief in the potential of every individual.
Exactly. And that's something we can all learn from, no matter where we live.
Yeah.
We can all start by looking at our own communities, right?
Yeah.
Are there similar challenges?
What resources are available? How can we support those who are working to make a difference?
It all comes back to that shift in perspective, right?
Absolutely.
Instead of judgment, we need empathy.
Yeah.
Instead of turning away, we need to engage.
And remember, change doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
It takes time and effort, a willingness to learn and adapt, and maybe most importantly, a belief in the possibility of a better future.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today into Darndale and Dublin's drug crisis, I want to leave our listeners with this.
Okay.
We've seen the harsh realities, the struggles, but we've also witnessed incredible resilience and hope.
Think about those young people in Darndale.
Yeah.
They face some incredible challenges.
Yeah.
But they haven't given up.
Right.
And neither should we.
Let their stories inspire us to action. To challenge our assumptions, to advocate for change, to support those working to make a difference.
Because ultimately, this isn't just about Dublin.
It's about creating a world where every community has the resources and the support to overcome adversity and to build a brighter future.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.